Hello and welcome. Happy November 22nd. We are on to the last day of week 11, and then we have three games this week on Thanksgiving. Might try to do something special this week with that. We'll just have to see. Excuse me. But before we do anything, let's just recap the Sunday games and we'll get down into Giants at Buccaneers. It was a good week. A lot of stuff happened from a fantasy perspective that people probably didn't realize. Lamar went out last second with the illness. They didn't have Hollywood Brown. That made the Ravens versus Bears game very interesting. The Ravens pulled it out. They've been good at pulling out close games, 16-13. So, the Ravens still, I think they definitely are dominating the AFC North. Them and the Bengals and the Browns won. The Steelers lost. So Steelers are going to have to keep pace. Vikings and Packers, what a game. Definitely the game of the week. I know they wanted it to be Kansas City versus Dallas Cowboys, but that wasn't even close. It was definitely the Vikings at the Packers. If you listen to me live, if you watch live, I was on that show live, and I said that penalty, that roughing the passer penalty, he hit him helmet to helmet. So it was pretty weak. But, that pick, Savage's pick getting turned around that was the moment in the game because that prevented them from getting any points, would have kept the momentum. Instead, they go get a touchdown with the extra plays. And lo and behold, Vikings win 34-31. But that's what happens. That's division rivalry week, and we're good to go. Hey, I told you I thought the Colts would win that game, and they did. They won 41-15. It was a JT show. I don't think the Bills are as advertised. I think the Colts are a little better than what people want to acknowledge. They were my preseason Super Bowl pick prior to the injuries. And I was like, man, I don't know if these are going to be season long or what, but it looks like I was right about the Colts. They have a great coach. They have the great running back, the great offensive line, and a good defense. That's the playoff formula. You don't need anything else. The Browns squeak by the Lions 13-10. The Lions lose another close one. Poor Lions. The Browns aren't good. They beat a very, very bad team. And I'm not sure they're going to be able to beat the elite teams when the rest of the AFC comes around. I think Baker Mayfield and the Browns are probably one of the most polarizing teams. A lot of people out there think they suck, that they're not as good as their record, that Baker Mayfield is just not a good quarterback. And then there's people that think the opposite, that the Browns are a playoff team. They can go all the way after their season last year, that Baker Mayfield's good enough to lead them. And I'm of the former. I do not think Baker Mayfield's that good. I don't think the Browns are that good. I think they've gotten pretty lucky playing some decent defense when they've needed to, but I don't know that they're going to compete against the top six of the AFC. Washington at Panthers, man. Cam, 2 games. If you did the touchdown, Cam, JT, Gaskin, plus 950, they all hit. That was a good welcome home game. That was a good game, too. But Washington pulls it out, 1-2 in a row. All of a sudden, the NFC East is looking pretty strong with Washington and Philly both taking it all. Panthers lost one. Cam looked good. They'll get better. That defense, it's pretty uncharacteristic of that defense to give up 27 points. But this was a really emotional game. So you got to kind of watch that when we get to the storyline, like I told you. Texans at Titans, man. I thought the Texans would play them good. I've always said I thought the Titans weren't as good as their record indicates. I don't even have one of my top 5 power rankings. The Titans, that is. So say what you want. The Texans got a victory. They play them usually pretty good. And this is kind of a deep rivalry. The Titans are the former Houston Oilers. So Tyrod Taylor's good. If he can just play. Brandon Cooks did nothing for my DFS. I still won a lot of money, but if Cooks would have done anything, I would have probably been up there in the top 10 and won some real money. That's all good. Texans get out the win, move the 2 wins on the season, both in the division. You got to like it. 49ers at Jaguars, I think this one was over before it started. 49ers look like they're getting on a roll. There's some NFC teams that started slow that are starting to hit that November stride. So watch out for the 49ers going forward. Dolphins and Jets a little closer than I thought it would be. Gaskin got the touchdown. Tua got a touchdown, 24-17. The Dolphins are keeping their slim playoff hopes alive. They've won back-to-back now. That's the way you do it. You get on a roll, you beat the teams you're supposed to, and then you upset the teams that people don't think you have a chance against. So if the Dolphins are going to make that push, they've made the right time to try to do it. 29-40, Saints at Eagles, man, just a complete beatdown. Jalen Hurts, I think, had 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Demario Davis only had 1 tackle. I don't know what's going on over there. The Saints, are they for real? I don't know. The NFC East in the middle is, or the NFC, excuse me, just in the middle is just, it's kind of murky. I don't know what's going to happen. Bengals at Raiders. The Raiders are doing exactly as we predicted them to do. Going to start losing a lot of games, start to have their second half season collapse. This is what they've done the past 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So I don't expect it to be anything different. And the Bengals, kudos to them, getting more wins, getting out there, getting the touchdowns. Joe Burrow's running around everywhere. I don't know what y'all say. Like, yeah, Jamar Chase has been good, but they definitely need a lineman. They need a lot of linemen because Joe Burrow is running around on every stinking play, man. It's just a matter of time before, I hate to say it, but before he gets another injury and misses a few weeks. Cowboys at Chiefs, 9-19. Chiefs just a beat down. I told you I thought the Chiefs were for real. They were in my top 5 power rankings. I thought they were the real deal Holyfield. And they played defense actually against a team that's supposed to have a really great offense. Say what you want about that, but um, you know, they shut down the Cowboys, no touchdowns, and they got enough points against that defense to play well. Michael Parsons looked great. Patrick Mahomes is looking good. Travis Kelsey, he's worth that first round pick every time if y'all took him. So it's competitive in the AFC West. The Chargers, we'll get to that in a little bit, but it's no slouching over there. Cardinals 23, Seahawks 13. Colt McCoy coming up big. I think that was one of the best games I've seen by a backup since I saw Matt Flynn live come back and beat the Cowboys in the second half, also known as the Des Bryant walkout game. But Colt McCoy, man, he's a. I say that Aaron Rodgers is the last of my youth. That's not true. There's Colt McCoy too. We both came from two A towns in Texas. So the fact, that means that you graduated with about 60 people. So the fact that Colt McCoy has made it from a small town Texas, probably didn't have like a stoplight and shit like that. I always root for him because he played just a few hours down the road from me. Like I said, small school, and I like him, man, and I root for him every time I see him. And it's good to see some of those old guys live up to their hype. You got to forget Colt McCoy was supposed to win the Heisman Trophy. It was that switch. That was the pivot point. And when UT was dominating, it was UT and USC, and then it switched to Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson. That was because Alabama beat UT for their first national championship under Nick Saban. The rest is history. But Colt McCoy is still a good quarterback. True that he's very efficient, show that he can lead a team and not make mistakes, and throw a couple big first downs too. So shout out to the Cardinals sitting the number 1 in the NFL right now. Steelers at Chargers was 37-41. What a game, man. I'm not going to lie. I went to bed at halftime. I was pretty tired. But the Chargers put it on them, man. And the Steelers, Boswell was playing against him. So that sucks. But you got to do what you got to do this game. Proves right quick that the Steelers without TJ Watt, Joe Hayden, Minka Fitzpatrick, they don't have a defense. That defense isn't that great. But without those three, they're not going to do well. The Chargers don't have a defense either. All the praise on Brandon Staley. He may be a defensive guy, but he realizes his defense isn't that good, and he's going to have Justin Herbert outscore everybody. Not a playoff winning formula, but pretty good to get into it. All right, let's get into the game tonight. We got Giants at Buccaneers. From a fantasy perspective, I really like Daniel Jones. Say what you want. I think he's going to be able to run on this team. I think he's going to be able to make a few completions against the secondary. And they might be just getting it together, Joe Judge and those guys, because the reason being the NFC East is looking like they're doing it. It looks like it took them a while. It took the Giants a little bit to get healthy. Now they don't have a defense, but I do. And I'm looking at Booker. I'm looking at Barkley. They both practice, and if they both go, I imagine Barkley's got to be the guy, right? Like I'm sure he's the guy if they both can go. But Booker might get some snaps too. Kyle Rudolph has been coming on. Ingram's been playing okay from a tight end perspective. If you have it's Monday night, so probably whatever you got, you're going to play if you have an open roster spot. But I do expect a big game from Daniel Jones one way or another. I don't know which receiver it's going to be. I don't know if it'll be Kenny Galladay. I don't know if it'll be Tony. I don't know if it'll be Slayton. But somebody's going to have to make some big plays against that secondary. Also, switching it around for the Buccaneers offensive side of the ball, I do like Tom Brady. I think he's going to have a killer game. He may have like a 4-touchdown game. I think Logan Ryan's out with COVID. He's been a stud. I built him up all year. They don't have Julius Peppers. They don't have Blake Martinez. So Leonard Fournette should be going off tonight for your DFS. I like Tom Brady, and I like Mike Evans. Godwin, they're going to be good. Rob Gronkowski could be back. But I think Mike Evans is the guy. He gets all the targets. He gets the most targets still. He gets the touchdown red zone targets. So I do like Mike Evans for you DFS guys. Defensively, Leonard Williams is going to eat. I think, that's going to be the matchup to watch. Leonard Williams versus the center Jensen. Like I said, I played college. I got to see Jensen play college, one of the few Super Bowl winners of this past 3-4 years he played against where I went to college, and he was just as nasty back then. So Jensen versus Leonard Williams, that's going to be a matchup, man. That's going to be fun to watch tonight if you like watching interior linemen and defensive tackles. Moving along, though, I do also like for the Giants, somebody's going to have to step up. I told you guys Xavier McKinney, He could get picked on by Tom Brady, so he could have a high tackle volume, maybe a couple passes defended if you need an emergency IDP. I really like McKinney. For the Buccaneers side of the ball, somebody's going to eat against that offensive line. That's a really poor offensive line for the Giants, and somebody's going to go over there and get a few sacks. Now, is it going to be JPP? Will it be Sue? I don't know if Vita Vea. He might be out. It could be that rookie. I can't think of his name, man. He's a light up. He's just a pass rusher, but he could very well do that against Daniel Jones. That's why I think Daniel Jones is going to get flushed out and get a lot of rushing yards, just because I just think that I see him getting flushed out of the pocket. I see some pass rush coming, and it's just that's how I see that breaking down. From a linebacker perspective, I do like Devin White. I need him to have a huge game to win in my league of record. I do like Levante David. Winfield's probably going to come up and make a lot of plays too. So there are IDPs on the Broncos side of the ball. I just don't know if the Bucs are going to try to control the clock, if they're just going to score a bunch of points and give Daniel Jones it. I do expect them to beat them, from whatever perspective that might be. I definitely expect the Buccaneers to win this game. All right, looking at a betting perspective, let's go ahead and take a look. We got 11-point spread for the Buccaneers, 49.5 points on the over-under, -575 for the Bucs to +410 on the Giants. Let's look at some of these props real quick. Computer's moving a little slow. Apologize for that. Let's see. Touchdown score. Everybody likes that one. I would go Mike Evans, and he's at -110. Leonard Fournette's at -120. Chris Godwin +110, Saquon Barkley 125, Rob Gronkowski 140. These are anytime touchdown. Kenny Golladay +225, Sterling Shepard +225, Evan Ingram +300, Giovanni Bernard 310, Tyler Johnson 310, Kadarius Toney 350, Bucks D 380, Ronald Jones 380, Devontae Booker 400, Darius Slayton 450. That's a pretty high odd one if he needs a chance if he's playing. Giants defense +650, Kyle Rudolph +800. All right, let's go look at some quarterback props. Daniel Jones over 243.5 yards. That's his line, 243.5. Tom Brady's is at 299.5. I would be willing to take that under. Passing touchdowns, Daniel Jones over 1.5 +135. Tom Brady over 2.5 +110. On the negative, it's -185 for Daniel Jones, -145 for Tom Brady. Interceptions are both at half. Daniel Jones is at -160. Tom Brady's is at +105 to throw it. Daniel Jones is +120 to not throw it. Tom Brady's -135 to not throw it. Passing plus rushing yards, Tom Brady, they gave him 4 rushing yards. Maybe take that line. That just gives you 4 more yards in case he doesn't pass, because he's not going to run for 4 yards, I promise you. Tom Brady completions, 26.5 is the line, -130 on the over. Pass attempts, just for Daniel Jones, they don't have pass attempts for Brady, nor do they have completions for Daniel Jones. But Daniel Jones' pass attempts is at 34.5. The over is at -130. The under is at -105. Let's look at a few rushing plus receiving props. Daniel Jones has a line of 20.5. Man, that's pretty dadgum good. I'd like that. Leonard Fournette's at 64.5. He might be able to go over that. Let's see. Receiving yards, Chris Godwin, 70.5. Where's Mike Evans? 65.5. Rob Gronkowski, 30.5. Leonard Fournette, 26.5. Kenny Golladay, 51.5. Kadarius Toney, 42.5. Evan Ingram, 35.5. Darius Slayton, 31.5. Those are all at -115. Receptions, who has the most? Godwin at 6.5. Evans at 4.5. Kenny Golladay at 3.5. Slayton only 2.5. They're fading Slayton, so maybe we can get that there. Leonard Fournette rushing plus receiving is at 95.5. That's probably a good angle too, just because he's been getting a lot of passes. I know Giovanni Bernard's supposed to be the guy, but Leonard Fournette's been really stepping it up. So that might be a good angle too. You guys know I like that one. Longest rush, longest reception. Let's stay away from those guys, as you know. Weekly specials. Let's see what we got. Anything fun? Over 2.5 total combined interceptions. I'm not going to bet on that. Let's see if we got tackles plus assists. The highest tackle line, 9.5, Devin White. He could get it. Tate Crowder, 8.5. Levante David, 6.5. Jordan Whitehead, -120. Winfield's at 5.5 at +100. Adoree Jackson, 5.5 +115 on the over. Jordan Whitehead, 4.5, -120. Let's see. Austin Johnson, 3.5 +100. Leonard Williams, 4.5 at -135. Xavier McKinney, he has, I think, the highest line. Yep. Well, he's tied with the Dory Jackson for the most tackles. I told you guys they're going to target him, but his 5.5 is at -125 on the over, and the Dory's is at +115. So they're telling you they think Xavier McKinney is going to get a tackles. That's pretty much what I told you guys. I expect him to get targeted quite a bit. That about does that right there. Let's see if they got any odds boosts for us today. We'll check that out, and then pretty much going to wrap it up today. Keep it simple show. I told you who I thought was good right there. Tom Brady to have 4 touchdown passes. Leonard Fournette to record 100 plus total yards. That's a boost, and it's up to 120. I kind of like that one. I already told you I felt good about the rushing plus receiving. This is the same line. It's just they moved it over. They gave you the boost to 20, so I might take that. Monday Night Dimes. Daniel Jones to have 275 plus passing yards. That's a lot of yards, but they're probably going to be playing from behind. The secondary is not that great. That could be a good one, too, because that one's at +225. It's a lot of yards. I do feel great about Leonard Fournette. It's not much of a boost, +120. So that's you put in $4, you get 9. You put in 4, you win 5. So that's not bad. It's better than evens. So, yeah, that's going to about wrap it up today, guys. I hope you have a good day. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I'll be glad to help with any of your fantasy needs tonight. If you have a backup, I told you, McKinney, if you need IDP. But if you have some betting questions, just please ask me. Send me a DM on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all these spots. You can find me on there. Facebook. If you want to find more information, go to Iggy's Fantasy and Betting. We have the articles loaded. You can check out the player pine. I think I did really great this week. We have betting charts. We have information on waiver wires every week. Plus, we got this thing called Super Draft. We just put the link on there. Go join it, guys. I won money like that lineup I told you. I'm pretty much just doing DFS on there now because the fields are so much smaller. I'll cap out at like 5,000, 6,000, and you're still winning 20,000 for first, 25,000 for first, 10,000 for first. So the field's longer. I see a lot of people over there already loading it up, putting like 20 lineups in per contest. That's fine. You're competing against those guys. But let's build your lineup tonight and get you a good win. I've already got my DFS in the Super Draft. You just click the link on Iggy's Fantasy and Betting. It'll roll you in there. It's a membership only. So don't think that you can just like get by me or get by somebody else. You have to each one teach one. You have to know somebody to get in. That's what keeps the limited small. And don't worry, even if you're in a state that doesn't have legal betting, there's a subscription-based model as well. So you can do 0, 20, 50, 100. You sign up. You can play, like for the $100 one, you get like 8 DFS lineups a day or something like that. It's ridiculous. So just think about that. Take a look for you DFS fans. It's pretty fun. And if you live in a legal state like myself, I still gamble on it just because the pools are so much smaller, and I've been having a lot of success. So check out Iggy's Fantasy and Betting. Do that. You can load up the podcast there. Do me a favor. Please go to YouTube and subscribe. We're trying to get our count up and start looking at that more. Like I told you, the podcast will be going until basically the end of the football season, and then we're going to kind of switch focuses. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day out there. I really appreciate you listening. I really appreciate, just us being a community. Let's go try to win some money tonight, and let's deposit. That's the goal, right? Win a little bit of money. Even if you deposit a little money, let's deposit a little money after winning Monday. Withdrawal is what most people call that. And be good. Let's go into next week after that. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.